Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. I don't think it makes any sense to do sports.
Yeah, I bet.
Why you don't think it makes no sense to do sports?
Because the Giants lost again. Like, we had the game in the bag. Like, we missed two.
Y'all didn't really have it in the bag.
We did. We had two field goals. It was a minute 30 left. It was out. But, like, the game should have been over.
That's not in the bag when you're a Giant, when you're a member of the New York Giants. Talk about those Dallas Cowboys, though. Talk about how those Dallas Cowboys washed the Los Angeles Rams yesterday. Let's talk about that.
Well, the Jets beat the Giants yesterday. The Eagles beat the Commanders. Jaguars beat the Steelers. Yes, the Cowboys beat the Rams 43-20.
43-piece. 43-piece. 43-20.
I said that.
43-piece.
I said that. The Vikings beat the Green Bay Packers. Dolphins beat the Patriots. The Titans beat the Falcons. The Saints beat the Colts. Panthers beat the Texans. The Bengals beat the 49ers. Seahawks beat the Browns. Broncos beat the Chiefs. And the Ravens beat the Cardinals. And tonight, the Chargers beat the Bears too. And tonight, the Raiders take on the Lions. Now, if you're a baseball fan, you watch baseball, how are they looking out there, the baseball, Red?
It's the World Series right now.
It's the World Series?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's playing in the World Series? Rangers and Diamondback?
Yep, it's still going on, so you don't know who's going to win it.
Okay, all right.
Damn, don't nobody care about baseball. I didn't even know the World Series was going on.
Nah, not at all.
I mean, I'm not going to say nobody. Like, that's a broad generalization. I don't care about baseball. I used to like baseball in the 90s when everybody was on steroids. That's when baseball was great.
Now let's talk about the man accused of killing 18 people is found dead out in Maine.
Yeah, we have the latest report on Robert Card. They were looking for the mass shooter suspect in Lewiston, Maine. Let's take a listen, and I have some more information on the other side.
After a more than 48-hour manhunt, the suspect in the mass shootings at both of these locations in Lewiston, Maine, has been found dead by apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound, according to law enforcement.
Yeah, so the body of Robert Card, 40-year-old, was discovered near a river about 10 miles from where the body was found in a box trailer sitting in the overflow parking lot of Maine Recycling Corporation. And that's also where he worked and was recently fired. So apparently he went back to, his old employer and a self-inflicted wound is what authorities are saying what has happened. But that has not been, they haven't really flushed all of that out, but that's what they're saying. 2 firearms were found alongside his body. He was wearing the same sweatshirt seen in the surveillance video that was taken Wednesday night of the shooting, suggesting that he never changed his clothes, and it is unclear when he took his own life.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't hardly hear test because my headphones are dead. But I told y'all on Friday that man was dead.
That he killed himself?
Yeah, I told y'all Friday.
So he didn't leave no note. They didn't find no note, no letter, or nothing on his computer, no text, nothing. Nobody knows why, or we don't know as of yet.
Yeah, well, they had said that last week that they had left a note. They also said that he left passcodes to his phone, so that his family could get in there and find out more information. But right now, what is also, people are talking about, the police were alerted that this was possibly going to happen. They were alerted in September. And so they did say, be on the lookout for Robert Card after he made threats to his base and fellow soldiers. But then after they stepped up patrols at the base and visited his home, they didn't find anything. So they moved on. So that's really unfortunate. They had their warning and, weren't able to stop it. But yeah, they did find, to answer your question, Envy, notes and all types of information. But, again, they're still processing all of that. And I'm sure, it'll come out in the days to come. This story constantly develops, so it changes all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do wish guys like that, who have zero disregard for life and they've gotten to the point where they want to end it. I really wish they would start with themselves first before they go kill 22 innocent people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then go ahead, Envy.
Now I was going to say what's scary is they were alerted in September. So that means somebody they spoke to or somebody he said something to or he gave an impression that he was going to do that. And it just feels like it just fell at the wayside. You know what I mean? Like if they were alerted, that means somebody was very, very nervous. And obviously he went through it, what he said he was going to do. That's scary too.
Mm-hmm. And they also, just going back again to possible motive, they had also talked about, may possibly because he broke up with his girlfriend at the time, which is why he went to their restaurant and their bowling alley, because they said that's where she frequented a lot. So there's a lot that was going on with him, possibly, from losing his job, losing his girlfriend. Remember, he had a mental episode earlier this year as well. So there was a lot going on, a lot of red flags, if you will, on what should have happened, what could have happened to prevent this. So rest in peace to those victims. I know they had a candlelight visual over the weekend as well. So Maine is at least they have some relief because you remember they were on complete lockdown, you know, from thinking this guy could just pop up at anybody's house at any time. So a little relief on their end.
All right. Well, that is front page news. Now, get it off your chest. Tez, we'll see you in a couple of minutes. 800-585-1051 if you need to vent something on your mind, whatever it may be. 800-585-1051. Call us up right now. Phone lines are wide open. Let us know how your weekend was. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's EJ, Envy, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Now, let's get in some front page news. Now, last night in sports, of course, NFL, the Giants lost to the Jets. Eagles beat the Commanders. Jaguars beat the Steelers. Cowboys beat the Rams. Vikings beat the Packers. Dolphins beat the Patriots. Titans beat the Falcons. Saints beat the Colts. Panthers beat the Texans. The Bengals beat the 49ers. Seahawks beat the Browns. The Broncos beat the Chiefs. The Ravens beat the Cardinals. And the Chargers beat the Bears. And tonight in Monday Night Football, the Raiders take on the Lions.
And the Cowboys didn't just beat the Rams. We washed the Rams up. Okay, we wiped our ass with the Rams, all right? 43-20, a nice 43 piece, all right? Okay? We beat the Rams up the way Francis beat up Fury this weekend, all right?
Okay, did you see the fight over the weekend?
Damn right, I watched the fight. I thought Francis won. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. Fury, definitely, I guess, outboxed Francis. I guess you can say that because he landed more punches. But just because you land more punches doesn't necessarily mean you won the fight.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because to me, Francis clearly won that fight.
I've seen a lot of people saying that's the reason why they don't watch boxing anymore.
Well, those people don't watch boxing because that's exactly the reason I do watch boxing. I watch boxing for the unpredictability of it. I watch boxing because you have to fight the fights, okay? And nobody thought Francis had a chance against Fury, and he went in there and he looked like he won the fight to me.
All right, now let's jump right into Tez. Tez, what's going on?
Yeah, speaking of fighting and throwing the towel in the ring, former Vice President Mike Pence made a surprise announcement Saturday at the Republican Jewish Coalition's annual leadership summit that he was suspending his campaign for president, becoming the first major candidate to drop out. Now, when you listen to this audio, I want you to listen closely to the gasp in the audience that was, I guess, surprised that he made this announcement. Take a listen.
So after much prayer and deliberation, I have decided to suspend my campaign for president effective today. Now, I'm leaving this campaign, but let me promise you, I will never leave the fight for conservative values, and I will never stop fighting to elect principled Republican leaders to every office in the land. So help me God.
Is it really a suspension if you just give up on what's not working? I mean, let's be clear. His campaign just wasn't working.
No, it
so
wasn't
is it
working.
really a suspension? Like, no, you gave up on your campaign because it wasn't working.
Yeah, and you couldn't really hear the audio good, but if you go back and look at it, because in fact they did articles about the gas, because people were like, oh, and then there were a few people that kind of clapped as well. But yeah, it's sad. When I put it up on my Instagram, everybody was like, oh, was he even running? So they kind of looked at it as a joke, unfortunately, I guess, for poor VP Prince, but he did, I guess, give it the old college try. But speaking of that, with delivering remarks in Las Vegas, former President Donald Trump had this to say. You know, he wasn't going to let this moment pass. So this is what he had to say about Pence dropping out.
You know, people are leaving now and they're all endorsing me. I don't know about Mike Pence. He should endorse me. He should endorse me. You know why? Because I had a great successful presidency, and he was the vice president. He should endorse me. I chose him, made him vice president. But people in politics can be very disloyal. I've never seen anything like it.
Was Trump a career killer for Mike Pence, or was Mike Pence, distancing himself from Trump, the career killer? Because there was a period where, people were saying that, Mike Pence was going to be the face of the GOP. Like, he was the future of the GOP. But, aligning himself with Trump worked for him when it was working for Trump, but when he distanced himself from Trump, people kind of like distance themselves from Pence.
Right.
Right. Well, it all happened, on the insurrection, January 6th. In fact, in that audio, he went on to say how, he could have made a different choice, talking about, what he still believes Mike Pence could have did to help him certify winning the election. And even people in the crowd, shouted out that he was a traitor. So that is when the relationship, really went in two different directions when he decided to, uphold the Constitution. And let's not forget that Trump defended those January 6th rioters when they said, hang Mike Pence. So That's kind of where that went in another direction. Now, on the Democrat side, Vice President Kamala Harris was on 60 Minutes last night, and they asked her about Trump and his current charges and the status of the Biden campaign. Take a listen to that.
You have the current front runner for the GOP, Donald Trump, facing, 91 criminal charges?
I've lost count.
Yet, the Biden-Harris ticket is running neck and neck with Donald Trump. Why are you not 30 points ahead?
Well, I'm not a political pundit, so I'm not going to speak to that. But what I will say is this. When the American people are able to take a close look at election time on their options, I think the choice is going to be clear. Bill, we're going to win. Let me just tell you that. We're going to win. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but we will win.
You say that with such conviction.
I have no doubt, but I also have no doubt it's going to be a lot of work.
Well, I'm glad she has no doubt because I have a lot of doubts. And the fact you're facing a twice impeached president with 91 criminal charges, 4 indictments, and y'all still neck and neck in a general election poll, I don't know who that says more about, Democrats or the American people. But either way, it should make Democrats do some soul searching and ask some questions about themselves.
She also talked about the media. She felt like the media didn't highlight some of the stuff that they actually did do positive in the White House.
I think that Democrats' messaging sucks. They can't blame the media. I just think their messaging sucks.
Yeah, because she was talking about why people feel like, Bill was asking her why they feel like people think that she does nothing in the White House and that they do nothing at their campaigns and that they don't hold the people down. And she was like, she feels like the media doesn't highlight a lot of the positive things that they do. She also talked about trying to ban assault rifles and assault weapons again. They said that, they had it banned at one time and, now they're trying to ban it again, which is very difficult. But this interview was actually done before the last mass shooting.
She also had this to say about Biden's ability to do the job. Play that right quick so people can hear that.
We were talking to some Democratic donors, and they have told us that should something befall President Biden and he is not able to run, that there would be a free-for-all for who would run as president. You are in the spot that would be unnatural for you to step up, but we're hearing from donors that they would not naturally fall into line. Why is that?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to engage in that hypothetical because Joe Biden is very much alive and running for re-election. So
but you do know, that is a concern and a legitimate concern, I would say.
I hear from a lot of different people, a lot of different things, but let me just tell you, I'm focused on the job. I truly am. Our democracy is on the line, Bill. And I frankly, in my head, do not have time for parlor games when we have a president who is running for re-election.
I don't think that's a parlor game. I think they got to pay attention to what the American people are saying. Like I understand that she is putting her head down to do the work, but you still have an election to win. And I think it's a very fair question to ask: is the Biden-Harris ticket, still a ticket that can win? I don't think that's wrong to ask.
Yeah, and again, over 60% of the American people, they don't want to see a Trump and Biden rematch, period. So they're not interested in Trump and they're not interested, in Biden. So even on the Republican side, when we look at that, which the next debate, by the way, is coming up here in the next couple of weeks, people are looking for someone to do well on that side as well. So when we look at both sides, it's just the choices are just not there. Let's just be honest about it. They did say Nikki Haley was rising up in the polls and, she's getting better with that. But whether you look at Donald Trump or Biden, 60% of American people don't want to see that rematch at all.
The American people deserve better. I said it already. I'll say it again, man. I think that Republicans should move away from Donald Trump. And I think Democrats should, move away from Joe Biden. I think it's terrible that, those two are the only options, and I guess the best options we have.
All right.
And can I just say this one last thing? You're right. It's not just a parlor game, and particularly on what's happening right now with this war. People's position on this war, they're asking for ceasefire. That is absolutely going to affect, how people look at this administration. There's going to be some people that say they handled the war well. So all of these are things that the administration has taken into account in how they campaign within the next year.
Well, just know they're going to be campaigning heavy. They've been doing a college run, going to all the colleges, trying to stop at all the HBCUs, trying to make sure that the young people are informed and the young people are excited. So that's where also last night in the 60-minute clip, they were showing her at a bunch of colleges. All right.
They might want to listen to young people because they're asking for a ceasefire. So we'll see.
All right. Well, that is front page news. Thank you, Tez.
Absolutely.
And make sure you subscribe to Tesla and Figaro's podcast, The Straight Shot No Chaser podcast on the Black Effect iHeartRadio podcast network, and follow at Tesla and Figaro on all social media platforms.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.